Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, no Kardashian K-word talk at all, no tea talk, no politics, no religion, because I want to start the day off in the most positive way. And, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. And most, if not all places, the producers want you to go, oh, or what's wrong with people? So I've made an entire field or endeavor out of this little thing called the show. And this is now 702 consecutive weeks. Next week, we'll be celebrating show podcast number 1,500 with a great guest. And I just want to highlight her next Tuesday. It will be Michael Learned. You might remember her as the mom of the Waltons, classic, iconic show. And she also was Jeffrey Dahmer's grandmother in the Netflix special, which is like going from one extreme to the other. And so she'll be here to celebrate podcast 1,500. And I was told I wouldn't last a year because I don't talk about the headlines. And y'all, of those of you who said that, bless you, because this is now over I think we're over 13 years. Will be 14 years May 1st. So I am so happy to see you here. And I bring you great topics, great guests, and great new series. Today is the second time we've come on this new, very exciting series. I had him as a guest a number of years ago. I brought him back. I did a throwback Thursday on it, and one thing led to another. And here we go. It is called Beating Cancer with Nutrition. And I have founder of NORI, Mark Simon, here. Let me give you a little bit about him in case this is the first time you're tuning into this particular series. He's the founder and director of Nutritional Oncology Research Institute, which was established in 2011. His background is in clinical nutrition with a specific focus on cancer prevention and treatment. He is the CEO of NORI Nutraceuticals, which manufactures specialty nutritional supplements. And last week we talked about different amino acids and how cancer cells, if we look at them a little differently, we'll see that we can actually beat them. But I want to welcome back to my studio, Mark Simon. Welcome back, Mark.
Really glad to be here again.
Yes, I am too. And we start every show with breakfast with my guest, or now you've graduated, breakfast with my co-host. Top of the bun, a couple of things that we're grateful for that we see outside of ourselves. Try to make it different every time and specific and short. And then the bottom is what we're grateful for inside of ourselves, what we appreciate about ourselves, so that when we go to bed tonight, we're not thinking about, oh, I didn't get that done, or I should have done that, or you're shitting yourself. Instead, I want you to fall asleep saying, you know what? I did the best that I could with the time that I had and resources I had. I'm actually a pretty caring person. So that way we develop that muscle that keeps us from looking for love and approval from other people. Because frankly, my dear, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anyone else to? So that's what we do first thing every single weekday morning with me. And I'll start. I am grateful for, I said this yesterday. I don't think I've ever said it before, but I started like waking up and like, what's the first thing that I'm grateful for? Toilet paper. And certainly COVID made us grateful for toilet paper. So what are you grateful for, Mark?
My thought this morning is I'm grateful for seasons. The fact that we have 4 seasons. We actually have seasons in Southern California. Not as dramatic as other parts of the country, but we definitely have seasons.
Absolutely.
We had our first rain of the season on Tuesday. It was a lot of rain, but it was nice. Washed everything up.
Yeah.
Cleared the air.
I am grateful that yesterday a guy stopped me and said, I saw you on TV. And I went, oh, sometimes they replay the Let's Make a Deal or some of the specials I've done in the past. But he goes, no, it was about Mahjong. So the segment on CBS aired on Sunday morning. And if you Google CBS Morning Mahjong, it'll come up on YouTube and you can get that. So my newest title now is Mahjong Veteran. So I'm grateful for that. It was a cute segment. Kudos to CBS on that one. What else are you grateful for?
Well, just what the earth provides us.
Fruits and vegetables. Mark is the PR/cheerleader for all things fruits and vegetables. That's your newest moniker there. Great. Let's go to the bottom of the bun. And the bottom of the bun is what do you like about yourself? So I like that I am so shy, and sarcasm is another service that I offer. Mark, what do you like about yourself?
Well, back to the seasons thing. I like the fact that I feel like I'm in sync and in tune with nature and the seasons.
Fantastic.
I welcome the change.
You're sensitive to the change and appreciative of the change, which is awesome. Yeah. All right. And that is Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and you say Mark Simon. You haven't done this before. This is what I do with my co-hosts to make sure they're awake. This is the special series Beating Cancer with Nutrition, my newest series here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. I see someone already gave us the finger, which is as a result of free subscribe to my YouTube TV channel. They give me the finger, not that one, but this one. And we'd love for you to participate here on the show. We are both live here every 9 a.m. on my YouTube TV channel. And I'm so grateful. I just checked the numbers again. I am now over 4.1 million impressions. And I couldn't have done that without y'all. So thank you very much. And now for the topic of the day. Mark, what's the topic of the day?
The topic for today is cancer and the immune system, and also immunotherapy, which I'm sure probably a lot of you have heard of. This is the new big thing in oncology, is activating the immune system to treat cancer. So this is a big topic.
So let me just, for those who are not in the loop around some of the terms, I just want to make sure everybody, because you've been working in this a long time. And for the average person, which I'm the spokesperson of, immune system or immunology, I know that immune system for me is what keeps me from getting sick. Okay, in the simplest terms, right? And I know that immune system disorders or problems with the immune systems sort of came to light, I want to say like maybe 30, 40 years ago when people started getting like, what's that? Yeah, the
Auto,
sleeping, the sleep.
autoimmune diseases.
Yes,
Yeah.
autoimmune diseases. And
Yeah.
I remember, at first people are like, "Oh, you're just making that up. What do you mean? They
Mhm.
can't find anything wrong with you,
Right.
and you're falling asleep or you're in pain, and they can't find the source of the pain and all of that." So
Right.
that was a pretty milestone kind of discovery, right?
Yeah. You're talking about
Like,
chronic fatigue syndrome,
correct. Isn't
which
that
they now
immune?
understand is an immune problem. Yeah.
Yes, and so I wanted to bring that up for those like
Mhm.
me who are I'm not a MD, I'm a PhD,
Mhm.
so people just assume, but I want to
Right.
make sure that we're all on the same page as we get more and more technical, so that we don't assume. So,
Mhm.
immune system. What's your definition of your topic? Immunology and immune systems.
Well, it's about the relationship between cancer and the immune system because they really go together hand in hand. It's important to understand the relationship. And so some believe that, or been led to believe, that cancer is a result of a failed immune system, that your immune system is not finding the cancer cells and killing them and destroying them. Some people believe that there's cancer cells in our body all the time, but the immune system, is finding them and destroying them, sweeping them up. I don't believe that to be true. I haven't seen the evidence for that. And I don't think that cancer is caused by a weak immune system or a failure of the immune system. So, what's important to understand is that cancer originates from our own cells. And it's a dysfunction of stem cells. So, cancer originates in stem cells. All of our cells have protective mechanisms so that the immune system does not attack and destroy them. Okay, if our cells didn't have these signals going out to the immune cells, I'm self, don't touch me or mess with me, unless there's a real danger, like I have high amount of viral particles or bacterial infection or something seriously wrong with the cell. Don't bother me. So cancer cells, just like our own cells, they have all these protective signals that keep the immune system from attacking them, but they even have them to a higher degree. So the cancer cells do a really good job of evading the immune system. This is one of the hallmarks of cancer, is immune evasion. So you can have a perfect immune system, like super strong, healthy, but it's not going to do anything as far as getting rid of cancer cells. And
Because the cancer cells are really good at cloaking themselves from being attacked by the immune system.
yeah,
Okay.
they send out an identity signal to the immune system that I'm a normal,
I'm
healthy
not a threat.
cell.
Yeah, I'm not a threat.
Yeah, I'm not a threat.
Interesting.
Yeah. So in the field of oncology, they've managed to develop what they call immunotherapy, which is a way to activate the immune system to find and attack and destroy cancer cells, thereby shrinking tumors. So unfortunately, immunotherapy doesn't work very well. It has a low response rate. Maybe for some cancers, at best, it's about 20%, like for melanoma, lung cancer, and kidney cancer. Doesn't work for breast cancer. Not well at all. And it doesn't work for a lot of other cancers. It doesn't work well for colorectal. Although they do prescribe these drugs, but the response rate is very, very poor. And then there's issues with
Side effects.
overactivating the immune system,
Mm,
where you end up creating an autoimmune condition. The immune cells start attacking normal, healthy cells and tissues. And that's a very common side effect of immunotherapy, the conventional form. So, it looked like it was going to be the next big thing and really promising. And gee, we can just turn the body's own immune system on and fight cancer, without chemotherapy and all the rest of it.
right.
So they developed these various drugs. One of them is called Keytruda, and it's an monoclonal antibody, and it blocks this signal between the cancer cell and the CD8 positive T cell. These are the killer T cells that would attack and destroy the cancer cell. So it blocks this, they call it PD-L1 signaling. So it blocks this protective signal, and it kind of works, but not reliably and not on all cancers.
So if you've just tuned in, I just want to give a station ID because I have to, but I also want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio, it is my newest series called Beating Cancer with Nutrition with myself and NORI founder. And now you say your name.
Hyman.
There you go. That's how we do it. And this is our second full-fledged episode for this series. So glad to have you. So glad to have Mark, because I think this topic, if you know anyone, and I don't know anyone who doesn't know someone who's touched by cancer. This is a great series for education and also for, solution. And, that's what I'm all about. I don't talk about the problem unless I talk about the solution. And Mark Simon's work is really, forefront as far as how we can really take responsibility for our own health and combating the cancer cell. So last week we talked about enzymes and amino acids that cancer doesn't like, that are prevalent in fruits and vegetables, and the ones that it does like are, for the largest part, animal protein. So go and listen to that first one if that piques your interest. Today we're talking about immunology and the immune system. And what you were just talking about were different strategies that have not been successful in trying to activate a person's immune system naturally in order to fight the cancer cell. Is that about accurate?
Well, not naturally, but these are pharmaceutical drugs.
Okay. But you're activating your own immune system is what you're trying to do.
You're activating your own immune system.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
At least trying to do it in a safe way.
Right. Now, you mentioned T cells, which I know because my best friend, Michael Maine, who passed, he was HIV positive for like 10 years and then AIDS, and then passed. He was my grad school best friend. And so I know T cells because that's what we would, he would text me, and how that was the way that we measured how sick he was. Right. So is that the same T cell?
Well, there are different kinds of T cells, but overall is a group of immune cells. Yeah. There are really three major types of immune cells. So there's T cells, then you have what are called natural killer cells, and then you have macrophages. So those are kind of the three main cells. So most of the interest in oncology has been activating, these T cells, the killer T cells. But there's also interest now in activating natural killer cells, and kind of what I'm involved in is figuring out ways to activate all of the various immune cells. So, as I said, there are these signals that are put out to the immune system. You know, I'm self, I'm a normal cell, don't mess with me.
Uh-huh.
But turns out, fortunately, there are ways to turn off those signals. And that's
In the
part
cancer
of the
cell.
game. Yeah, on
In
a
the cancer cell, right.
in a natural way, using various nutritional supplements. So that's part of it. You've got a couple other barriers you have to overcome for things to happen. So what's really interesting is that most tumors, or almost all tumors, they're not just cancer cells. The tumor is made up of lots of different kinds of cells. So maybe 10% of it is actual cancer cells. Tumors are infiltrated with lots and lots of various immune cells. So the immune cells are all there. They're already there in the tumor. You just got to get them active and do their job. So one of the reasons they're not doing their job is the tumor microenvironment is not suitable for the cancer cells, for the immune cells to go after the cancer cells, if all the switches are turned off. So tumors are very acidic, and has to do with the abnormal metabolism of the cancer cell. They're generating a lot of lactate. So the tumor environment is very, very acidic. But it can be neutralized. There's ways using pH buffers to neutralize the acidity. And that's part of the process of enabling the immune cells to attack the cancer cells. So this is true for whether you're doing it naturally or with pharmaceuticals. This is one of the barriers to immunotherapy.
So cancer cells like it when it is acidic.
Well, they survive it just fine.
Okay.
They're quite adaptable.
So when you're saying neutralizing, you want to bring down the acid so that the cancer cell's not so comfortable. Is that accurate?
No, it's more for it's to make it more comfortable for the T cells, to make it more comfortable for the various immune cells to function properly.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So the cancer cells like it when it's acidic, and the T cell and the killer cells would prefer it.
Like it.
They don't. Right. Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to reel it for yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
So the acidity is a bad thing, but we can shift it. There's ways to neutralize that acidity and basically make it more alkaline. So diet comes in and plays a role, because there is such a thing as an alkaline diet. It is for real. That's something somebody made up, but the diet can be very acid forming, and it can be very alkaline. And that helps neutralize that acidity. And plus you can use baking soda and some other things to neutralize it. So
I've always wondered about that alkaline water. I mean, it may not be appropriate to talk about it here, but that's along the same lines, right?
Similar.
Okay.
Similar idea. So our blood, we can't change. The pH of the blood is fixed. It's very tightly regulated at about 7.4, which is slightly alkaline. But the rest of the fluid in the body, the extracellular fluid, can vary a lot in pH, being, very acidic or alkaline, and it shows up in the urine. So you can measure the urine and see what your body pH looks like. So that's what we do. We look at patients' urine pH and try to push that urine pH to the alkaline side through diet and through pH buffers. It's pretty reliable.
So an average person without illness is what you said, 7 point whatever, right? And then to give it a contrast, when a person has cancer, is that number more or less alkaline? It's
It
more
doesn't
acidic,
really
right?
change because
Oh, it doesn't change. Okay.
no, it doesn't. You don't really see the change in the urine unless there's a ton of cancer in the body.
Okay.
That,
And then
that
it's
might
more
change,
acidic. And then
you
it's
wouldn't.
more acidic or more
You
alkaline.
might see it as more acidic,
Okay.
but
And then the immunotherapy is trying to move the number to more alkaline.
well, conventional immunotherapy done
Mhm.
by an oncologist is just the drug alone, but they don't tell you anything about how to change your diet. Oncologists don't tell patients how to optimize their diet to improve the response to immunotherapy or chemotherapy or any other treatment. This
Mhm.
is not part of conventional oncology. Nutrition does not enter into that realm. So that's what I do.
Right.
I fill that gap.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, it was I have to give a personal story here because it's really interesting how okay, so y'all know I have blood clots, y'all know that I, had to cancel world tour cuz can't fly anymore without risk, and so I'm on blood thinner for the rest of my life, and it's the good news is I don't have to be on drip heparin on a hospital bed, which is what happened in 1996 when I got it the first time. So now I'm on this drug that I take morning and night, and it's to prevent those near fatal
Mhm.
blood clots. And then
Yeah.
Mark gave me a natural, supplement made from more, I think if you watched our interview before, he suggested me having more pineapple because that
Mhm.
was, a natural blood thinner kind of thing. And so, he gave me a, a product that had that. And then I almost took it. And then I asked my doctor about it, and he Googled it, and it said highly dangerous, highly,
Mm.
cannot interact because you're already on. But then the thought to me was, well, luckily what I'm on doesn't have like those horrible side effects that you hear on TV commercials, right?
Mhm.
That are worse than whatever you have.
Yeah.
And there's very slight, if any, and I haven't, thank God, had any, side effects or main effects. But it did come to my mind is like, well, if I have an option to do it naturally, why do we run to pharmaceutical? That again, and
Mhm.
this is exactly why Mark does what he does, I think, is to and when Fran Drescher was on, same thing. It's like we run to pharmaceuticals when we could look at what we are doing and eating now that is either helping things get worse, right?
Mhm.
Or feeding the cancer cells. And so yeah, so there's a personal uh, uh promotional so to speak. But
Yeah.
at the same time, and I'm going to put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of, talking about the elephant in the room. Have I stopped the eloquence to take what you gave me? And the answer is no,
No. No.
because this is where we are in
Right.
society. Is that do I listen to Mark or do I listen to my hematologist? Right. So I understand uh the debate kind of thing or the hesitation, but hopefully, like you said, it's not one or the other. It's
Right.
you're
Right.
filling in the gap, right, where there
Yeah.
is a gap.
Yeah. I would never tell you to stop the medication because that is a pretty serious condition. And these drugs are effective and they do work, they do their job. You have to be monitored carefully because you don't want to go too far. You don't want your blood to become too thin, because then you may have internal bleeding and various issues. So
Right.
it's a
Right.
fine tuning thing,
Yes.
but you
Yes.
still can support the process of preventing blood clots, through proper nutrition
Yeah.
and possibly certain supplements, if appropriate.
Yep.
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 And
So that was it.
exercise
That was
is important too.
Yeah. And if you've just tuned in, we're going to take a quick break because we have to pause for news, weather, traffic, and a word from our sponsor, and to give Mark a chance to get a natural drink. I'm just kidding. But we'll be back in 2 and 2. Don't go away for more
right.
Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa in our very special new series called Beating Cancer with Nutrition with myself and
Mark Simon.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
What if conforming to the world was exploring the world? What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life do you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time? Have relationships that we enjoy most of the time? And use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, where if you free subscribe, you're going to get an alert every weekday morning to join me with Solution. No headlines, but heartlines. And it is time for our very newest series called Beating Cancer with Nutrition with myself and
Mark Simon.
You're getting
Yeah.
it. And we're
Yeah.
talking about immunology and immune systems. And we've had a lot of great education already about how we can take responsibility. And if you know anyone who has cancer right now, this is a great way for you to supplement what is being told to you at your doctor's with things that you can do for yourself, which is why I have Mark here. So I know that there's something that you wanted me to show from Facebook. I don't know if we're there yet, so you let me know.
Okay. Yeah, at some point we'll go there. So yeah, we talked about the tumor microenvironment, being acidic, and that's a barrier to effective immune response or immunotherapy of cancer. There's another issue too, which is there's a tug of war between cancer cells and immune cells for nutrients. So these immune cells, to function properly, they need nutrition, they need energy, they need glucose, they need glutamine and other things to work. So we got to make sure those immune cells have the nutrients that they need. So that's another area. I won't get too much into that. And then there's the big thing, the gut microbiome. So everything always comes back to the gut, the bacteria, the colonies of various bacteria living in the gut. And some bacteria are good and some are bad. What scientists have done is try to figure out why certain people responded well to immunotherapy and then some people don't respond at all. So they compared these people. They took a look at their gut microbiome. The responders, the high responders, had a certain kind of a signature in their gut, different kinds of bacteria and amounts of bacteria. The people that did not respond well had very, very low levels of bacteria, or very low diversity in their gut microbiome. And then they did some fecal microbial transplants. Yeah.
I'm trying not to make a joke about that one.
But it's a big thing right now. Somebody's health individual that does not have such a healthy gut microbiome. It's called fecal microbiome transplant. So that has told researchers that, the gut, the health of the gut is really important in getting a good immune response. And that's because about 70% of the immune system resides in the gut. So we have to work on optimizing the gut microbiome to get a good immune response. And it's important in general, just having a good, strong, healthy immune system so you can fight diseases, fight COVID and flus and whatever it is. So how do you build a healthy, robust immune system? Through optimizing the gut. So, and they also found that patients who had antibiotic treatment, recent antibiotic treatment, also were non-responders to immunotherapy. And we know antibiotics will wipe out pretty much everything in the gut, and it can take months and months for the gut to recover.
Interesting.
So we want to build a healthy gut microbiome, which means high diversity of different bacteria and the right balance between healthy bacteria that are producing metabolites for us that are very important for our health and well-being, and pathogenic bacteria that are essentially making us sick. They're producing toxic substances. So it turns out we need a lot of fiber, and we need to not eat animal products to really get a really good, healthy gut microbiome. So plant-based diet, as long as it's whole foods, not junk food and processed foods, but good, healthy, whole foods, plant-based, is going to provide a good amount of fiber from the fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, and seeds, and help build and maintain a good, healthy gut microbiome. And then there's probiotics. There's probiotic supplements. And then there's things like kimchi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love kimchi.
Kimchi that has not been pasteurized. It's got live bacteria. It's a culture. It's a vegetable ferment, and it's got lots of good, healthy live bacteria in it, like sauerkraut. Raw and pasteurized sauerkraut is very good.
Okay.
So between probiotic supplements and fermented foods and all this fiber, we get from a plant-based diet, we can build a really, really good, healthy microbiome, which means we're going to have a good, strong, healthy immune system. And we'll just veer off a little bit to COVID. There was a study that showed that a plant-based diet can be highly effective in COVID prevention.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty extraordinary. When they looked at the data, that it could provide up to like 73% protection against COVID infection, or at least severe COVID infection, by just your diet. And the plant-based diet won out,
Interesting.
And so it all makes sense, because that's where your immune system is in the gut, most of it. And you've got to keep that gut really healthy and balanced. And that means avoiding food preservatives, because these food preservatives have been found to be able to destroy healthy gut bacteria. You want to avoid antibiotic treatments as much as possible. If you do have to do antibiotic treatment, you got to work hard to restore the gut microbiome.
Okay, so let me go back for a second, because I don't know much about probiotics. I'm the average person. You hear, you have to take probiotics to balance out your gut. Oh, the bacteria in your gut is, so this is all like a whole new area for me. So as I understand it, and with antibiotics, like for the average person, antibiotics are exactly what you ask for when you're not feeling well. You ask the doctor to write you a Z-Pak or whatever it is. And the one thing that I do know about taking antibiotics is that there's danger now to overtaking antibiotics, because your body will become resistant to the antibiotic working. That's one thing I heard. Another thing I heard and have experienced is when I take antibiotics, a lot of the time I have, how to be sensitive, I have the runs, I guess I can say that, or yeast infection. And so like, for the average person, it's like, oh man, that's a drag. So then you go back to the doctor and they give you something for that. So now it's starting to make sense to me that again, but this is a traditional thing. Like, oh, what am I going to do without antibiotics? And I'm being real, like as a average person, putting the moose on the table. So help me understand that this traditional way of treating viruses or bacteria. So when I get sick, right, it's either a bacteria or a virus. Right. And they say that if it's a virus, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to wait it out. If it's a bacteria, you can treat it with antibiotics. But you're saying that when you treat anything with antibiotics, it goes in and kills all bacteria in your gut, the good and the bad.
Most of it, yeah.
Most of them. And that's why I get the runs, and that's why I get the yeast infection, because you've messed up the balance in your gut. So then people say, take probiotics every day. Take probiotics every day. And I'm like, why am I taking the probiotics? Oh, it'll keep your gut health good. But that I don't understand that. Right. Those little things that actually taste good. And now you're saying kimchi as well. What am I doing?
Well, so you need prebiotics and probiotics. So the prebiotics would be the plant fibers that they actually eat. So you have to feed the probiotics, the proper food. So you need to be eating lots of fruits and vegetables, which contain a lot of plant fiber. The fiber that we don't digest ends up being digested by the bacteria.
So we're feeding the good bacteria in our gut when we eat fruits and vegetables that supply it with some fiber. We don't need the fiber, but the bacteria wants the fiber. Is that accurate?
Well, yeah, we need the fiber anyway because it helps move everything through our gut.
Yeah, in a walking way, not a running way.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't want
Sorry,
our
I couldn't
gut
resist.
to be. I know it's a little graphic, but it's good to have a mental picture
Image.
of it.
Yeah.
We don't want our gut to be like a tube of toothpaste, which it can become if you're in a low fiber diet. The intestine has a hard time pushing things through. We don't want to hold on to food for very long. Just, grab from it what we need and get rid of the rest. So there's a lot of foods that people eat that have no fiber. So
can I pull something up that shows that?
I don't think we have any, but animal products is really simple. Animal products have zero fiber. Talking eggs, dairy, meat, fish. There's no fiber.
Cheese.
There's no fiber in these foods. Zero.
Okay. That makes it easy.
That's why these foods tend to move real slowly through the digestive tract. They slow down digestion. And then there's a lot of these foods that aren't digested entirely, and they end up undigested in the colon, which feeds the bad bacteria, which we don't want, which can lead to colorectal cancer.
So are there definitive empirically based studies in the medical community that link animal products to colon rectal cancer?
Absolutely.
Either in starting it or continuing it or both?
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. Very, very strong association.
So please, if you're listening now and know people who are with cancer, this is the soundbite that I want you to remember. This is your call to action. This is not this is why I have Mark here for this new series. This is not something you normally hear for whatever reason, but you're hearing it here. And it's not like I'm a scientist, so it has to have data. It's not just the holistic whatever and there's no data. This has data. Go look it up, right? Go look. Okay. So who are some medical doctors that have been doing research in this that you can point to?
One of the best sources for information is Dr. Michael Greger. He doesn't actually do the research, but he has a research team of about 20 researchers. Dr. Michael Greger, nutritionfacts.org. I'd say that's probably the top doctor. There's some others, but he's very, very research oriented. He presents all the research in his articles and he does a lot of video presentations.
So you hear the siren. The siren comes on when it's the truth, right? That's that was well timed. So let me pull up.
I thought that was on my end.
That was a what?
I thought the siren was on my end. I couldn't tell.
No, it was on. It's always comes on when whatever we're talking about is the truth. So here we go. And here's your data, right? And he's like bipartisan, so you don't have to worry about all that bull. Yeah. So if you have cancer and you just refuse to help yourself and have like a steak and eggs every day, Just saying, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, he published a book a few years back. It's called How Not to Die. Excellent book. Highly recommended.
New York Times bestseller,
Yeah.
MD. Yeah. So here you go. Here's great resources. That's another reason why I wanted Mark to do this series, is so you have a place to go. Don't just take his word for it, but there is lots out there that I'm just stunned that the average person doesn't know this stuff.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the rise in colorectal cancer among younger people. So there's this fairly large increase in colorectal cancer in people who are 30, 40 years old. And so, I think it's pretty clear why that's happening. And it's diet. It's totally diet related, maybe also related to, higher alcohol consumption or a combination. But if you look at what people are eating in America these days, it's a lot of fast food. So you're looking at the combination of processed food, highly processed food, and animal products, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, whatever. And that's going to lead to a really, really unhealthy gut. This balance of healthy versus pathogenic bacteria residing in the gut. And it's year after year and after year, and that's sitting against the colon wall. And this is what's believed to trigger colorectal cancer, is these toxic bacteria, or at least producing these toxins that are being exposed to, the sensitive cells in the colon wall, stem cells. And those stem cells will turn into malignant cells. They'll form polyps, and then tumors, in the colon. And then those tumors will release cells into the bloodstream or lymphatic system. And then you've got, cancer in the lymph nodes. And then you have metastatic cancer, maybe in the liver or pancreas or other areas. And pancreatic cancer is related to all this too, by the way.
Okay. So again, let me put the moose on the table on this one, because you said before that the cancer cells are already in our body and they have the ability to cloak themselves and tell your immune system that we're not dangerous. And then when you add to the mix purposeful feeding of the cancer cell with animal diet, which has the research, then you're activating the cancer cells to become active and proliferate into tumors and in all of those areas that you can develop cancer in. This again is one of those, people go, well, how do you get cancer? Like, why is it? And it's like this, well, we don't really know. And you're just unlucky, blah, 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 blah. But there's more and more. And this is why Fran Drescher was kind of ahead of her time, because she's like, people talk about, treating cancer when it's really preventing cancer. And that was, she was very, vocal about it and kind of unpopular, right? For a little bit about that, because it's taking personal responsibility for the things you put in your mouth and the things that you put on your body that are, as you say, which is I'm still sort of digesting this. This is a hard thing to hear, right? It's like law of attraction. You attract the negative things that are happening to you. It's your responsibility to do something different.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that our doctors, the average doctor, is not sharing this data or information, or they're not even aware of it themselves. But it takes some special doctors like Dr. Michael Greger, and there's a bunch of others, Dr. Joel Furman, Dr. Dean Ornish, and I could give you a long list of other doctors. And they're doctors who understand all this, and they're They're plant-based oriented. They understand health is going to come from a plant-based diet. It's not going to come from the standard American diet or Western diet. That's way, way, way too heavy in animal protein. And maybe we'll do a show all about protein. We could spend a whole hour just talking about protein. Where
We can do that.
protein, and too much protein is not good for you from any source. And Americans are eating far too much protein. And we can talk about anti-aging effects of a low protein diet, blue zones, and all that stuff.
So maybe we need to increase instead of twice a month is what I'm
Maybe.
thinking.
Yeah.
But because we're out of time. I mean, this was
Won't
a
be
very
fast.
quick hour, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave comments and things like that. I see fingers. Thanks for giving us the finger. But this is the website where you can find Mark Simon. He has a lot of great free resources as well. He's got a free call twice a week now that you can go to him for answers and suggestions. He's got a lot of free stuff on his site and information. So please do go there. It's easy to find. It's nutritiononcology.net.
Yeah, nutrition.
Yeah. And so there's lots of stuff there that you can scroll through. You've got, all the support program. So go there and keep it tuned here because he's here every first and third Thursday or more. And what's your final word?
My final word. Well, back to gratefulness. I'm grateful to have met you and to be here and to be able to share all this information that I've gathered up over 20 years in this field. And I just continue to learn more and more every day.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
yeah.
You know the drill. Oh, before I do that, inviting you, the Newport Beach Film Festival is on Thursday night is the opening. Go to mbff.com. Make sure you register for the Chinese spotlight film this year. It's a Hong Kong spotlight film. I get to introduce the film. I'm one of the sponsors. You'll see me on the carpet. So I'm giving away 2 free tickets on Monday. So keep it tuned here and I will get you that free ticket to the Pacific Showcase, which is always fun, lion dancers and more. So keep it tuned here for lots of Asian Oprah giveaway tickets. You just got another great episode about beating cancer with nutrition with myself and
Mark Simon.
Good. You learned something new this time, right? It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world, peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Take back your life.